Affordable housing means a safe, decent place to live that doesn't cost more than 30% of a household's income. But for many Nova Scotians, that just isn't the reality. The housing crisis is here, rents are rising, vacancies are low, and the dream of owning a home isn't just slipping, it's vanishing away.
It's not just one income group. It's working families, students, seniors, newcomers, and even those who are the skilled laborers who build our homes. 65% of Nova Scotians experience challenges when getting houses. We recognize the large demand across a variety of income levels. However, our group is focused on one level.
Introducing Elevate Nova Scotia, a community interest company with one clear mission: to increase affordable housing for middle-income individuals and families by rethinking how we build and who gets to build. Our company is a CIC to allow for us to regulate our own processes without relying on a board of directors. Then we can reinvest our profits back into Elevate while still keeping the focus on community and social impact over 2 years. Our approach is grounded in 3 smart and simple strategies.
Pillar 1, find vacant, underused public or private land. This land is just waiting to be transformed into thriving communities. For example, there's approximately 500 acres in the Stewiacke Opportunity Development, which presents a significant potential for large-scale residential projects. Our mission will be to focus our development of affordable housing to these areas with consideration to Indigenous lands and preserving the environment.
Pillar 2, streaming the process. We will work with municipalities to cut red tape. Simple, pre-approved building designs, faster permits, smarter zoning, lower costs, and shorter timelines. With the new approved Housing Accelerator Fund in Pictou, New Glasgow, and Westville, with nearly $5.6 million to eliminate barriers to building the housing, we will adopt similar framework.
Pillar 3, train and empower local workers. We will be working with the NSCC trades programs to give students hands-on experiences developing housing through internships and apprenticeship programs all throughout the year, which will allow us to cut costs on paying employees to build the homes while giving students a real-world experience they need for their future careers.
We're aligning with the Nova Scotia government to make this funding possible, including programs like the Affordable Housing Development Program and the CMHC supports to lower development costs and make homes truly affordable.
We're inviting private investors, builders, and landowners to partner with us, offering capital, materials, or land. With impact-first models like community land trusts and equity sharing, it benefits everyone.
This isn't just an idea, it's a blueprint, a scalable, community-first model that uses resources that Nova Scotia already has available.
Elevate Nova Scotia uses the land we already have,
Accelerates the construction process,
and uses workers we can train.
Nova Scotia is facing a housing crisis. Right now, there are more than 2,000 people that are homeless across this province, but at the same time, a quarter of homes in Halifax are non-primary residences. These are second homes, vacant properties, or investments, not people's main place of living, and yet they're taxed at the same rate. In our effort to consult with the Nova Scotia Nonprofit Housing Association, we've developed a clear and targeted plan. A temporary 0.2% property tax increase on non-primary residences in Halifax for 2 years. This would generate approximately $122 million with no impact on primary homeowners and no lasting financial burdens.
The money raised from the tax increase would go directly to the Nova Scotia Nonprofit Housing Association, empowering them to increase their operational capacity dramatically. From there, the Nonprofit Housing Association partners with the Centre for Housing and Community Transformation to access technical expertise like HVAC upgrades, plumbing, and infrastructure planning. With this seed funding, the taxes that have been collected and planning support in place, Nonprofit Housing Association becomes bankable, ready to approach the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation and other lenders for mortgages and grants. These funds are then used to purchase and retrofit unused infrastructure such as vacant schools, failing motels, or decommissioned hospitals, assets that are already built, just waiting to be repurchased. Retrofitting costs are up to 70% cheaper than new construction. That's a smart and scalable investment, as non-profit rezoning fees are waived, making targeting these types of buildings more feasible.
Once retrofitted, these units are offered at deeply affordable rental rates, just enough to cover monthly mortgage payments. That rent revenue goes back into the system, allowing the Nova Scotia Nonprofit Housing Association to make payments and repeat the process, growing housing supply sustainably. This creates a positive feedback loop. The tax funds the startup, Rent funds the repayments, and the repayments free up capital for further expansion. And while the tax is Halifax-based, the result will serve the entire province, meeting demand where it exists, not where it's easiest.
Here's how it unfolds. Years 1 and 2, tax revenue is collected. Year 2, that revenue is paired with the Centre for Housing, Community and Transformation's aid in planning and fiscal support. Year 2 to 3, Nonprofit Housing Association leverages that capital to secure mortgages and begin acquiring properties. Years 3 through 5, retrofits are completed and units become available. Year 5 and beyond, rent revenue and leveraging assets will fund operations and future retrofits. This plan reuses existing infrastructure rather than waiting on new builds and creates long-term affordability without permanent taxation. We believe this is the most efficient path forward to addressing this housing crisis. Thank you.
Do you think you'll ever be able to afford a home in Nova Scotia in the future?
I don't think so.
This devastating result can be seen all across Nova Scotia, as 66% of the population agree.
With the retaliatory tariffs that Canada has placed against the United States, the cost of home construction in Canada has grown to be more expensive. Goods including steel, aluminum, iron, and semi-manufactured materials from these items are more expensive, creating uncertainty for construction companies trying to plan their projects. Our solution aims to help facilitate residential housing projects in Nova Scotia that use domestic products and labor to meet the demand in Nova Scotia for housing.
Canada is known for its vast forest and lumber industry. However, with that comes a lot of waste. In fact, 40% of all waste from construction, renovation, and demolition is wood. That is why we are introducing Rootwise Construct, a social enterprise that would transform this low-grade wood into affordable homes for Nova Scotians through 3D printing using wood composite. Wondering what wood composite is? You can find it outside of your favorite restaurant's summer patio or your family home's deck. Made using wood fibers mixed with an adhesive, it's chosen due to its durability, which is greater than that of regular wood. These homes would be more affordable than ever, starting with how they are made, as 3D printing can cut costs by over 45%. Furthermore, our technology would optimize customizability, making these homes more accessible than ever.
Funded by the Innovation-Focused National Research Council and the National Housing Strategy Research Fund, universities' engineering departments will be tasked with the development of the technology and equipment, which would then be patented.
Rootwise Construct will provide the equipment to existing local construction firms, providing additional employment and income-generating opportunities while remaining committed to preserving the affordability of our homes for the community.
There are many grants with environmental and social focuses which would aid in funding our operations. Some of these include the Affordable Rental Construction Pilot, Community Housing Growth Fund, Affordable Housing Development Program, and the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund. All of these have a focus on providing financial incentives for the construction of affordable homes.
The implementation plan spans over the course of 2 years and involves Rootwise Construct playing a significant role as a liaison aiding in the development and commercialization of the 3D printing technology and collaborating with the government on policy and adoption initiatives. To mitigate risk of resistance from traditional builders, Rootwise will affirm existing financial incentives, and to combat the risk of consumer skepticism, Rootwise will ensure rigorous quality testing is done and ensure that in customer purchase agreements, proper warranties are defined.
Join Rootwise on its journey to provide affordable, sustainable, and innovative housing to Nova Scotians.
Imagine a community where everyone has access to affordable housing, where land is owned by the people, and where developers, governments, and residents work together to create a lasting positive change. This isn't just a dream, it's the future we're building one community land trust at a time.
But across Nova Scotia and many other communities, land sits unused. At the same time, people struggle to find affordable housing. How do we bridge this gap and turn vacant land into thriving communities?
Take Oliver, for example. He is a local leader in Antigonish, working to increase the supply of affordable housing in his community, but has hit a roadblock. The task seems too tall and the solution too large to tackle, but there's a solution. Behind him is a vacant lot that has sat underdeveloped for 10 years, unused and forgotten. Little does he know, Logan works with Nova Housing Enablement and has a plan to help Oliver attain his goals.
Logan, a consultant with our company, specializes in making this happen. He works with communities like Oliver's to create affordable housing solutions. The key to this transformation? Community Land Trusts, or CLTs. A CLT is a form of non-for-profit elected by community members, residents of the land, and people like housing developers, government officials, and legal or financial experts. This model allows for the land to be owned by the community, not private developers or investors. This removes the land from the speculative real estate market. By controlling the land, the community ensures long-term sustainability and affordability.
So how does this work for people like Oliver? With our company's expertise, we proactively identify communities with untapped potential rather than waiting for them to come to us. While others support CLTs only after they're established, our competitive advantage is initiating and building them from the ground up. We identify land, partner with local governments, and navigate regulatory and financial challenges, ensuring communities have the tools to take control of their own housing solutions.
Our expert team has been working on building the templates and measures to help the Community Land Trust in Antigonish come to fruition. Over the next 6 months, local leaders will be united in unison with the school and community to learn about the new trust. CLTs are a solution that have been proven effective in terms of tackling affordable housing, and we expect construction to begin shortly after establishing the Community Land Trust, with new residents having an affordable place to live before 2030.
We are seeking funding from the Social Finance Fund, Investment Readiness Program, Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, Community Economic Development Grants, and community bonds. By leveraging these sources, CLTs can secure stable, long-term capital for permanent affordability and self-sufficiency rather than relying on short-term subsidies.
Our solution is simple.
We empower small communities to create sustainable, long-term community land trusts.
We identify opportunities and partner with municipalities to drive community-led affordable housing solutions.
Join us in creating a better future, one community land trust at a time.
In Nova Scotia, rents have increased by 11.9% in just 1 year, which is 4 times the national historical average.
Behind these numbers are real families making the impossible choice between food, medicine, and keeping a roof over their heads.
Today, we're presenting a two-pronged solution that the government and private sector can implement immediately. The core issue is simple: insufficient supply. Our solution? Repurpose underutilized buildings such as offices and hotels into affordable homes. These buildings already exist in prime locations with the infrastructure needed to create these affordable homes.
Just take a look at the Seton House transformation in Toronto, where a vacant hospital became 82 affordable housing units in just 9 months. Or here in Atlantic Canada, take a look at St. Patrick's High School in Halifax, which was turned into 65 affordable housing units, which are 40% below market cost. The blueprint exists. We just need to scale it up in Nova Scotia.
This approach reduces construction costs by 40% and delivers homes in months, not years. It perfectly leverages the $30 million of federal funding for affordable housing.
Our second solution, a rent-to-own model, where families pay 30% of their household income and start to accumulate ownership in the home.
The rent-to-own model has already helped over 3,000 families in Ontario, and in Manitoba, it's had an 86% success rate in turning renters into homeowners.
This creates not just affordable housing, but a pathway for building wealth for generations to come.
By combining building conversions with our rent-to-own model, we are addressing immediate supply and long-term affordability, which is exactly the multifaceted approach experts say we need. We plan to collaborate with the Nova Scotia Housing Agency to identify these building conversion properties and work with the federal government to drive policy on the rent-to-own model.
Studies show that this type of housing conversion reduces construction times by over 30%.
Our solution maximizes every government dollar invested. For every $1 million in public funds, our approach delivers 25% more than traditional affordable housing approaches. It's creative yet practical. It has clear timelines, and it's been thoroughly researched.
This works for all communities, leverages existing resources, and provides immediate relief for long-term sustainable housing. Most importantly, it creates a pathway to homeownership that strengthens communities and limits the amount of government subsidy needs.
We're calling on the Provincial Housing Agency to take 3 immediate actions.
First, designate 5 pilot properties across Nova Scotia within the first 60 days.
Second, establish a streamlined approval process for building conversions to cut the red tape.
And thirdly, we're calling on the government to establish a $10 million revolving fund specifically for rent-to-own model.
The model works, the buildings exist, the need is urgent.
Together, we can ensure a system where all Nova Scotians can afford a home for less than 30% of their net income. Was that recorded?
Hey, you, do you honestly think you can afford a house? How are you going to support your family? How are you going to support yourself? Well, don't worry, because United Housing has your back. We're going to ensure that your expenditure on housing costs does not exceed 30% of your income before tax. And we're going to do this not just by increasing the supply of affordable housing, but we're going to strengthen our rural communities as well. By connecting with communities and their leaders, we'll know the kind of housing you need, the best places for housing, and the kind of people you need for your communities and businesses to grow. With unique data from first-hand experts and qualitative studies involving Nova Scotians, United Housing will bring together key investors to create and maintain modular home living where it matters most. As opposed to other homes, modulars can be built faster and cheaper, while still maintaining the same strength, character, and quality, as well as less waste. At the cost of these houses, less than $200,000, which covers all developmental and oversight, renters will only need to pay around $800 a month for a 2-bedroom home, and investors will be able to get a return on their investment in around 20 years without any additional government subsidies. By collaborating with investors and lead module manufacturers in Nova Scotia, like Twin River, we can easily build communities and provide for our people in a sustainable way. The provincial government is already looking to spend $77.9 million to extend and expand access to supportive housing for Nova Scotians. A further $88 million is available to build and maintain public housing. Lastly, $73.9 million is available to provide just under 9,000 rent supplements to Nova Scotians. These commitments, beyond further budget reallocation, already allows for further subsidies to further drive down the cost for our investors and make affordable housing possible. Supportive investors and hard-working manufacturers, there's no doubt that we can make a real difference in rural Nova Scotia. Beyond just construction, the information that we collect allows us to advise potential tenants on the communities, affordable housing, and opportunities all around Nova Scotia for their skill sets. UnitedHousing.ca would help drive Nova Scotians to affordable communities where they would work and benefit the local economy too. With our community research, buy-in from investors, and a website that connects tenants with the right communities, there's no shortage of potential in making homes both affordable and profitable for all. We know times are tough, but years down the line when you think of home, you'll think United Housing.
Here at Leep Logistics, we believe that housing is a team sport. It takes multi-sector collaboration and teamwork to succeed. But in today's world, teams are undervalued and undersupported. That's why we believe that just simply building more homes is not the best solution.
All right, thanks again to our field expert, Griffin Gamble. Let's take a look at the problem here. Historically, public housing built by the government has not been sustainable. There's been a lack of appropriate management and long-term planning. The Nova Scotia Nonprofit Housing Association states that for every one affordable home built, at least 11 affordable units were lost.
Our solution is reallocating the funding to have paid positions in the current affordable housing societies. These affordable housing societies already have the framework to develop, grow, and maintain affordable housing communities within our province. In February of just this year, the Provincial Affordable Housing Fund announced a record-setting $136.4 million investment into creating 242 new units across the province, primarily in the Halifax region. We want to spread that across the province.
That's a big number there, a lot. Thank you, appreciate it. There's 3 main steps that we want to attack here to accomplish our goal. We're going to first source the funding, next we're going to distribute the assets, and finally we're going to monitor the money. Our first pillar, sourcing the funding, we're going to use a pre-established metric created by the 80 nonprofit housing societies as an example to show the government why this is the best approach to take.
An example of one of these societies is right here in Antigonish. The Antigonish Affordable Housing Society is currently made up of 12 volunteers, 1 part-time paid position, they have 28 running units, and 17 more under development. Imagine what they can do with a full staff. After we ideally receive this funding, we need to develop an equitable funding distribution criteria to figure out how to distribute the money across the province to different areas.
All right, and for our last pillar, we're going to take a little creative slide here. we're going to provide a province-wide board comprised of full-time employees from all Housing Society regions. This would allow for collaboration and ensure all affordable housing providers maintain progress towards sustainable public housing.
We're well aware that changing the current affordable housing structure in Nova Scotia is not easy, but we believe that if we get into the government level, we can change it from within and improve the Nova Scotia system as it is right now. Back to you, Griffin.
The result of this solution is strategic allocation of funds that ensure that affordable homes are built better, faster, and sustainably in Nova Scotia while reducing the stigma around affordable homes. This isn't just about building homes, it's about creating safe and resilient affordable housing communities in Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia is facing an affordable housing crisis, especially for young people starting on their work career. We believe it is time for a new approach. Our solution is designing a mini home community for recent graduates entering the workforce. We're bringing the land, funding, and vision, and partnering with a local construction company to make it a reality.
Yo bro, your company's on the news. What's that all about?
Yeah, so basically we're proposing the development of small affordable housing communities built with local contractors using cost-effective materials. And the idea is to create vibrant, accessible neighborhoods and not just like a row of units.
So how are you gonna get the money to afford this project?
Yeah, so to start, our plan is to take out a loan from private investors, then pay off that loan, and we'll be making a small profit off the mini homes while keeping the homes affordable.
Man, that sounds awesome. So what would it cost to live in one of these things?
Yeah, so as a contracting company, we would own the land and then work with the construction company to build these mini homes in a community-style environment. Our goal is to accommodate recent grads starting their professional careers, aiming to build homes at around $15,000 and planning to sell them at around $25,000. According to the government of Nova Scotia, rent has rose nearly 12% in the past year, the highest increase on record. We need housing that people can afford, so we'd cap monthly payments on housing costs at 30% of someone's income to keep realistic and sustainable.
So what would these houses look like?
They'd be laid out like a mini city with a mix of privacy and community. Every home in its unique shape, color, and design, plus a green space, park, and rec area to encourage connections. Ideally being close enough to a city or suburb to access public transportation and amenities.
So who can apply to live in these?
So there'd be an application process prioritizing people with incomes between $30,000 and $60,000, because it's designed for those who need it, not just anyone.
What happens if someone wants to move out?
So they'd actually have a contract to sell the homes back to us as a company, kind of like an apartment ownership model. That way the space stays affordable and available for future residents.
Dang bro, that's a great idea.
Affordable housing is about dignity, opportunity, and community, with more than 65% of Nova Scotians experiencing housing challenge in the last year, according to CBC. Our tiny home solution is practical, people first, and ready to launch. With smart design, fair pricing, and real impact, it's time to think big by building tiny. In year 1, we plan to have 1 community. In year 5, we plan to have 3 communities. And by year 10, we plan to be province-wide.
Yo bro, get in! We got communities to build.